Welcome back to Let's Have It Out. Peter, now I want to move to the next question. I find that when you have an organization or government, that you cannot really have policy implementation if the state in itself is corrupt. Now, I wanted to find out from you in terms of the EFF, in recent times has come under fire due to its connection to the VBS scandal, as well as its close relation to Glenn Mazzotti, who is a known criminal in this country. What are some of the examples that you can give us of the EFF dealing with corruption internally in the organization and using the internal processes to actually find out what actually happened with some of these issues?
Well, as you know, the 7 cardinal pillar of the EFF speaks vividly on corruption and how we are going to deal with corruption decisively. Yet, we have witnessed it internally in the EFF, where in many instances some councillors were then expelled through their shenanigans that were involved in those councils. Mm-hmm. And with regard to the VBS issue and Mazzotti, look, I'm not going to dwell much on that precisely because in the very same studios and platform, people have been asked several times to produce tangible proof so that we can then put those people who are involved into book, but that has never happened. And you are here speaking about Mazzotti, characterizing him as a criminal. Well, if he's a criminal, surely he was supposed to be in jail, surely he was supposed to be charged and arrested. So we are not going to be speaking about that and all those allegations that are coming.
Well, what's also interesting is that in the definition of corruption that the EFF uses, it's always almost quiet on when the EFF has to speak about corruption, right? There's a definition that's always outside of the EFF and never, fully complexualized and understood to say that corruption can also take place in the EFF. So I think, what can you say about the VBS scandal? What can you say about Mazzotti? Will the EFF expropriate land from Mazzotti, for example?
Well, but who's Mazzotti, my brother, compared to the establishment in this country, the white monopoly capital, the mafias that are running, the shots of economy in this country? I mean, those are the people who are, in fact, when we speak about people who are criminals, they are those ones because they are benefiting from the sweats and the pains of our people who continue to get slavery wages on the ground. People who continue to get lung diseases in their minds because they do not have, of course, medical aids and they don't get adequate salaries. So those are the people who are killing our people on the ground and they must then be rejected.
I think it also needs to be understood that corruption affects young people very strongly in this country and closes the opportunities for young people to go forward. But we do have a caller on the line. We have Takalo from Brits on the line. Hi, Takalo, what is your question?
Yes, my question here, I just want to make a comment with the with the EFF regalia there. The issue here is not about arrogance. As a young black man and South African, being unemployed is the situation where we are facing a lot of challenges. But we are becoming in denial in things that we don't have. As the EFF, we need leaders who will make sure that they can give us skills and they can make sure that we get development. And then if you look at what he's saying about white monopoly, it's not about white monopoly. What is it that the EFF will do to skill us as young blacks? Because now we are struggling, we are becoming frustrated. What they are doing, they are pushing their own agendas for them to be popular. These are popular utterances in which, as young leaders, we don't want them. We want people who are visionaries, people who will tell us that, as young blacks, we need to have 1, 2, 3 skills so that we can run this country. I am a qualified young physiotherapist as I speak, my brother.
Thank you, Takalo, for the question. I think it's been captured, Peter.
Look, I think we must understand something, as you have said earlier on, this, young people, youth unemployment in this country is really alarming and worrying. And we ought to then differentiate and categorize all these young people. That are educated young people, that are those who are still in school, there are those who are unemployed and not even having hope of having access to the institutions of higher learning. Look, when you speak about those who are in the institutions of higher learning, one will speak about the ethos of the ethos, the purpose of why they are there. So you will have an input, processing, and output. So in this instance, the current status quo suggests that, input is the registration process and access to the university. So far, we have some, systems in place that can, allow poor people to study for free, right? After that process, when our people graduate, then no one takes care of that particular process. Every year, we have thousands and thousands of graduates in this country, but nothing happens. Look, the EFF manifesto suggests and put it very clear that there must be a massive industrialization of South African economy so that we are able to create employment. I'll give you
just on that, Peter, I want to just pull on what the caller has said. He's spoken about youth unemployment. And in this country, we have the flagship program of the ANC, the NYDA, which we can all agree has failed young people in this country. You have a budget of 440 million rand that has been given to the NYDA. 61% of that budget is being used on salaries and administration costs. So if the EFF had to come into power tomorrow, what is the first thing that they would do when it comes to the NYDA?
Obviously, when we take power, the land will be back to the indigenous owners. And with that being said, the agricultural part of the whole thing will at least assist. So far, 50% of unemployed youth in South Africa will be employed. Why? Because when you speak about agriculture by itself, you are going to start from farming, processing, packaging, and distribution. That on its own creates many, many employment in the process. So that is why it is so important that we own the land of this country. Then we can be able to create as many jobs as possible.
But do the people really own the land, though? Because, the policy now that is being proposed is to say that the state must own the land.
Absolutely.
And that the people themselves are not even owning the land. So where is the ownership in this question?
The state will own the land on behalf of the people.
Can the state be trusted to own the land?
No.
We've seen many SOEs in this country, like SABC, like SAA, that have fallen apart. They've been run by the state.
Well, we must have confidence in the state, the same way that China is doing.
But we don't have confidence. But we don't have confidence in this country.
Because of the government of the day. When the EFF takes government, you are going to find reasons why the state must be trusted. In fact, there is no other thing that can be trusted.
Well, the EFF has just recently broken down Vodacom shops. That's not a sign of a party that can lead this country or can be trusted to actually take people to solutions. Peter, I'm really sorry. I would like us to go into a question. We have a question coming through from someone here. We will take more questions shortly after this. I think we need to take an ad break now, but we'll come back to this question after this.